Okay. This is another message. It'll probably be a two-parter. One, I'm going to freewheel it a little bit. This is on faith, and the word that I found in Hebrew. I don't know if this is accurate. I don't feel like that is the right word. But that's the word that when I looked this up, that was the word for faith. And it says, have unwavering, not doubting faith. Promises will happen if on path, perseverance, and don't look back. Hold fast to Yeshua, who will never let us down. And you are in his capable hands. He will direct you, and he will lead you and guide you. Basically, faith is something, because in the Bible it talks about how faith is what Abraham used with Isaac. I mean, can you imagine taking your one and only son, who God promised you was his, and who would make a group of people as many as the stars, and then ask you to basically take him and have him be a sacrifice? And what I find even more astonishing is when I read about it, he knew that he was a sacrifice, and he willingly went along with it. And it's in, I can't remember if it was Jasher or Jubilees, but it talks about how he willingly went along with it. It's like, okay, well, I'm a willing sacrifice. And yes, there were lots and lots of tears shed, and they didn't take this lightly at all. But it's just amazing that they had faith enough that, like, okay, well, and basically everyone's like, oh, God will provide. God will provide a sacrifice. God will provide a sacrifice. And right when he was about to plunge the knife into him, God provided a sacrifice and switched the two out, and so he was able to live. But it's by faith Moses led the people through the desert. I mean, he led them across the Red Sea, and he talked to God on Mount Sinai, and he got the 10 commandments, and he led people for 40 years, and he had to trust that God would provide, and he did. He always does. I mean, by faith, David took on Goliath, and David took Goliath out. And you're talking about a little teenage boy who was taking on a giant. I mean, Goliath was huge and had major armor and spears and everything. And it took many people to carry his stuff. And David took him out. He sunk a stone into his forehead and killed him. So yes, faith can move, and it says faith can move mountains. It says if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can make this mountain or mulberry. Well, it says mountain and mulberry tree in two different places, but it also says that in order to increase your faith, you have to have prayer and fasting. The more you're connected through, in our spiritual sense, with Yeshua and the spiritual realm, the more power you have to do amazing things. Like Enoch and others that are in the Bible. I mean, they fasted and did things. He wrote, like, I think I can't remember how many scrolls. It was like 600 scrolls or something astonishing. But what I've noticed in my own life is when I have cut things out and fasted, and I've cut out TV and music and movies and all that, and I have noticed that my connection with God has grown exponentially, and I'm able to hear him and see him in ways that I never thought possible. So, and faith is a lot easier said than done. I mean, there are times when you're going to doubt. There's times when you're going through a spiritual battle, and it's constant, and you're like, okay, I've been dealing with this for a very long time. And, well, I mean, our long time compared to people's long time in the Old Testament is quite drastically different. We think that a month or a year or however long is a long time, when in the Old Testament there are people that had leprosy and had all these grievances of their body for like 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 years. And they finally got a reprieve from Yeshua, who healed them, and from others that came along and healed them. Um, so, so yes, faith can do a lot, and you have to have faith in order to to follow Him, because there'll be times where it's like, am I doing the right thing? I mean, like I had to have faith coming here. Like I've had a crazy life. I've moved, and I can't even believe I've counted it up. I think it's something like 30 to 35 times in the last 20 years, since 1999, and it's 2023, and I don't know why I've moved that many times. I think some of them it's a mistake to move that many times. But I have, and I look back at my crazy life, and there were times I probably moved when I shouldn't have. But I've grown as a person, and I've learned a lot. And some of these things, I mean, they all ended in different reasons why I was there. I mean, I was in Houston when 2 different floods hit the area, and I spent 2 months every weekend and every available time that I could mopping out houses of flood damage. So I would be ripping out paling of houses, and basically taking all kinds of stuff out their house, and helping people try to get back on track. I mean, I had instances where I was in the right place for family members and helped them out. But yes, and right now I'm sitting and hopefully have done the right thing. I went from Florida out here to Colorado, trying to on faith that everything would work out. And right now it's I'm waiting for things to happen. I've gotten messages, as you all know, that that I'm sitting on, and I'm waiting for them to come true. And I now know why prophets, I mean, a lot of prophets, I mean, there's a lot of prophecies out there, and being a prophet, I guess you see the fruits of your labor. And so, but you're tested to see if you'll follow through. So those that don't follow through, they don't keep getting more stuff. Well, sometimes they do. But yes, you have to have faith. So in my next part 2, I'm going to talk. I have more writings and stuff, and this time I'm going to tell about it instead of freewheeling it. And it may go over some of the same things. But just know, I mean, faith is unwavering. It's not doubting. And you have to be sure of where you stand. And you also have to have your life. So you have to repent and go to God. You have to go to Him on your knees and ask for forgiveness, and He will forgive you, period. So you have to do this in order to be His, and then He will take care of you. Okay, so part 2 is coming up.